Hello, my name is Michael Listman from the Education Office in the Bureau for Latin America and the Caribbean here at USAID in Washington, D.C. I've prepared a few comments to share with you today on this momentous occasion. I'm so pleased to be able to congratulate you on being selected to the first cohort of the RedLEI Fellows, and on your commitment to improving the quality and utility of education research for the benefit of young people in your countries. At USAID, we're so pleased to be able to support what RedLEI is trying to achieve in Central America, and what so many like-minded researchers and advocates are doing across the world. We're convinced that learning to read at grade level in early primary school is the building block for all future learning, and that learning to read on time is the only way kids everywhere can eventually learn to read to learn. The evidence illustrates that deficits in early literacy is a critical problem across Central America, and that the literacy gap is even more pronounced amongst the most vulnerable and disadvantaged populations in the region. Unfortunately, children most at risk of falling behind the literacy curve are also the least supported to learn to read. They have little or no reading materials at home, their parents may be functionally illiterate, and their schools and teachers do not have enough time or are ill-equipped to ensure that they learn the fundamentals of reading on time. The evidence also shows that this is a problem that, if unsolved, correlates to many other endemic problems in Central America, even more difficult to solve: unemployment, poverty, crime, and violence. Along with the founding members of RedLEI, we are also convinced that a crucial piece of the puzzle of early literacy in Central America must be addressed through policy dialogue and research circles. Today, there are numerous global best practices in the area of early literacy that have a robust scientific evidence base around them. Education research is not always considered externally valid, however, and even in cases where it truly is, where it may be clear that certain practices are empirically optimal in generalizable ways, there are cultural, linguistic, and socioeconomic differences that make it very challenging to consistently convince others to change course. This is where your work comes in. The LAC-READ's Capacity Program, a regional multi-partner initiative supported by USAID, has demonstrated a considerable lack of rigorous evidence available on literacy in the Central America region. They produced a systematic review on the evidence from and focused on the region, which, if you have not seen, you should be sure to review at www.lacreads.org. Your work will soon become a part of this important and growing evidence base. RedLEI, for its part, aims to correct this research imbalance. The goal is to produce and promote relevant, robust, trustworthy research by and for Central Americans to solve the issues Central Americans face with educating their most vulnerable young people. And next, of course, is making sure that the evidence you produce is accessible, understood, and usable by the decision makers that need it. You are not engaged in academic exercises. What you produce needs to be of the highest methodological standards and needs to be actionable by the stakeholders it pertains to, whomever they are, be they policymakers, ministries of education, school leaders, and/or educators themselves. On behalf of USAID, we hope that this experience is a formative one for you and your important research, and trust that this experience is just the beginning, not the end, of your relationship with RedLEI. On behalf of USAID, again, congratulations and much success.